Okay, hi. So, another Tuesday, and we are talking today. Every Tuesday, we're talking about things that are bringing you more intimate with your partner, in your relationship, in your marriage. And this is a warm up. This is a warm up for our upcoming workshop that is going to be starting in March. It's going to be 6 weeks long. It's going to be entirely for free, and it's a live workshop where you actually get to work with us and in our community, and it's going to be super awesome. So if you are interested in signing up for the workshop, then do so please in our website kerkmannhoodcoaching.com. And today we're going to talk about reasons or ways that couples sabotage their own intimacy life, so their game in the bedroom. We're trying to avoid some words that get us shadow banned, so please bear with us with the silly replacement words. And so here's one. How do couples sabotage their intimacy life?
Well, definitely we can blame it on our child. Mm-hmm. So if you have a kid or kids, you know that it's really easy to scapegoat your kids and make it their fault. Not to their faces, of course, but to blame the fact that we're parents and we're so busy, and we're always driving the kids around and they're hungry and we have to pay attention to them, and we're so tired by the time they go to bed, and that's a really easy way to sabotage your possibility of sex and intimacy. Right. Sorry, we're not supposed to say that on the internet, I guess, but intimate time, connection time with your partner.
Right. Or they sleep in your bed, maybe, and that
co-sleeping
might be the reason that you have to not have the kind of intimacy that you want with your partner. And what are other ways? What are ways for
I think there's a lot of man blaming. I think there's he doesn't want it, and he's not asking me the right way, and he doesn't touch me the way I want to be touched, and lots of women blaming the man and saying if their man would just do something differently, then we would be having the kind of intimacy and the kind of connection that we both want.
Or for us men, it's well, she always has a migraine, or she always has headaches. She doesn't really want me. She doesn't really she's not into me. So it's I'm playing myself on my own insecurities. What's another one?
I think he said no last time, so I just won't ask, right? We get into that pitfall of believing that we can't have what we want because we got rejected one time, and then we turn that into a big story about how our partner is always rejecting us.
Mm-hmm. Or resentments. We are arguing all the time, and we have I'm resentful at my wife. She doesn't talk to me the way I want to be talked to.
Yeah, I think resentment can be a reason that, on my side as a woman, that definitely in the past I have withheld intimacy, touch, connection, even platonic touch. I've not touched because I was angry, and I'm gonna teach him, and it becomes really, it really backfires. It really creates a lot of disconnection and a lot of stepping out of how we want to have the thing we're actually longing for. So not only are we now pretending that we're not longing for it, but we're actually holding it in and not expressing the fact that the desire is even there.
Another one.
Yeah.
We're too busy.
Oh yeah, we're so busy.
We're so busy.
We have so many plans. We have so much to do. There's never time. We haven't had a date night in a month because we're so busy.
Oh my god. Work is all the time there.
Oh yeah, work. It's a bummer. Hate work.
They all for themselves, they can be really, really they can seem really like that. That's the obstacle.
They can be compelling, the truth of those things. We can make a good case for why everything that we just named is really a reason why we can't have the intimacy and the connection that we're longing for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about why these are not the actual reason why intimacy dies in a relationship, or why the marriage becomes sexless. Okay. Because they are not. They are just very compelling reasons that we start to bring out when something else is actually lacking in our relationship. So, and that thing that's actually lacking in our relationship is what we want to discover a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just want to acknowledge, as we're going to talk about this, like, what we're talking about is really vulnerable work, and it's not easy, whether by yourself or with your partner, to look at this stuff and acknowledge the impact that it's had on your relationship. And so I just want to name, like, if you're watching this and suddenly you're like, what are they saying? I can't even hear it. Sometimes that vulnerability keeps us from being able to really hear. So just stay with it, stay with us, and I promise that this is landing somewhere in you.
Now, let's actually step into like the responsibility together, okay?
Yeah, let's model that for sure.
Because here's the thing. So I'm gonna start from my side, okay? So one of the reasons, or one of the ways that I sabotage our sex life is, I believe the reason that we are running out of money and work is more important, and the work pressure is so real that I don't take the time and patience to actually connect with you when I talk with you. So I fire a few last things at you on my way out of the door, and then I'm like upset because the coffee wasn't ready or something, so I scramble and make it quickly myself, and I'm like out of the door, and I haven't really actually like connected with you, looked into your eyes, like given you like a gentle touch, and be like, hey babe, I'm gonna leave now. Do you need anything for the day? What's your plan for the day? Okay, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter what, my words don't matter as much as actually like giving her my presence. So the withdrawal of my presence is how I sabotage our sex life.
That makes me think of mine, and I actually have talked about this on a live before, but I think it just comes up because it rings so true. That a lot of my part and women's part is, I'll call it withholding approval from our partner, but it really goes deeper than that. It's really more like getting frustrated and criticizing and nitpicking and saying like, well, I really needed you to do X, Y, and Z yesterday, and like you didn't do those things, and you made dinner but it was on the table an hour late. So like, right, instead of like finding anything that went right, there's this list of ways where like he was unsuccessful with me or with my expectations, right, which is another issue. But just to acknowledge like,
It wasn't enough.
I'm showing up with all the lack and all the ways where you didn't do it right for me. Like it wasn't enough and it wasn't how I wanted it. And I'm usually transmitting the emotion of that like disappointment, right? We transmit a lot of feeling, and that's felt, right? Like he is a sensitive, alive, aware human who can feel, right? Men feel us, and whether even when we think we're, oh, I'm just holding it all in and like, thanks honey, right? But there's like an undertone of criticism, like he is gonna feel that. He's not stupid. He's not missing it, right? Like it's all gonna be transmitted. It's all gonna come across as like me taking stock of where he's not the man I think he should be, which is a huge recipe for not creating connection, not creating intimacy, and even a possibility for it, right? We're both already showing up with those behaviors.
Right. And like we live in a culture right now where like every man is like trying to like toughen up and like be these like superheroes, achieve everything. But really like the sensitivity that Sasha is talking about is really like the nervous system. Like my nervous system is super sensitive, and so is hers. But the way we talk to each other, we can be mentally like, oh, okay, like don't take it on. But really, if there's hostility in the way we talk to each other, the nervous system goes like this.
And that happens.
Goes into self-protection.
That happens really fast. And I think that's one of the difficult things in relationship is how quickly our actions have an impact on our partner's nervous system and how quickly that has an impact on how we feel about each other and whether or not we want to kiss and touch and slow down and take clothes off together.
Okay.
Because as soon as the nervous system is like, it's not safe, right? There's this retraction. It's going to be 10 times, there's going to be 10 times more resistance we're going to talk about the head and the body, but like in our course, we're going to talk about the head and the body. I'm not going to get into that today, but I just want to say like there's going to be so many more forms of resistance when the nervous system is activated and like on alert, right? When we're not feeling safe, we can't open, we can't even have the possibility of being in connection.
And really the thing is this, like however you relate to each other throughout the day, that what you are creating there, the energy you're cultivating together is going to be basically the reflection of how you're going to be together in bed. So if you are not at all together in bed, that is a reflection of how you actually not at all in connection in real life. If you create a connection where the man is always the one who's like holding and has to be like the tough rock and the provider, you're gonna have that energy also in bed, where like she's just gonna like lay there, not do anything, and he's gonna do her, and she's gonna get upset about him not doing it right, and then he's gonna be like, gotta perform harder, gotta put more pressure on her, right? That's gonna be basically that dynamic. So if you don't enjoy that dynamic, where maybe you are a woman and you're like, I don't actually enjoy what is on the menu during sex, look at the way you guys already create that dynamic in your everyday life. Really, there's like, for us, one of the things that we like teach our students is there's really no separation between the time you spend together in bed and the time you spend together in your daily life. It's a reflection all the time. So one of our tools that we actually sometimes ask people to understand how their relationship is going is, how is your sex life? Because then when they give us a description of how it is, we know immediately what's going on outside. Okay, now let's see. I lost my track a little.
Well, do you want to give
another way that we sabotage?
You're gonna give another way that we sabotage.
Yeah, like another way really is me not taking care of myself. That's really a big one. Like, especially I think for men, it's a form of like overconsumption. Like if I at home and like I watch The P, right? I watch The P, and I do it to myself. Okay, like really, what's happening is like I'm trying to keep my sex life by myself. I try to keep it isolated and alone, and I'm basically like, I'm using up everything that I could offer my wife, and I do it alone. I consume it alone. And then when I come to her, I'm somewhat already like exhausted, empty, not really like hungry. And then as a result of that, I'm like, I'm not so turned on by her, because like I have just watched a selection of 20 different top models doing it in front of me.
Yeah, and this is a tricky, very nuanced topic that we will go into more in our workshop if it's something that interests you. Yeah, I think it's hard to bottom line that one quickly.
No, that's enough for today on that.
I'm like, I have more to say about that.
Yeah.
I think that for me, doing a different one or like one that relates to that.
Whatever you like.
I think for me, there's one that's like, I have a belief that I have to like wear the lingerie and like put on the sexy music and like dance the way that the women dance in videos and like bring this certain, and maybe it's not like that, but that I have a belief that there's a formula that I need to like come to a certain version of like the turned on me who's like, hello, right? That like believes that I'm going to seduce something out of him, that like my sexuality is something that I can use to like get something from him. This is also very consumption based in a different way than what Moritz was talking about. Rather than
to pull me back out of,
right, in order to, right, those are related, but
right.
not necessarily, right? It could be nothing to do with what you're doing. I might just be doing this whole shenanigans on my own because I think that I need to show up already like turned on and ready to go and like in this certain state in order to enjoy the experience. Right? Or I could have the same idea about like, you need to touch my body in some certain formula or some certain way. You have to go take some special class of like particular type of eye gazing, and then we'll have this like, then the output of that formula will be really great high peak experience. Be
the tantric master.
Yeah, like, right, that's one form of it, right? And I do think that there are forms of that are more conscious, but
what's
but for me like what the truth is under that belief system is like, actually what happens is getting connected to my partner, to another human, right? Allowing myself to open. I wanted to say earlier when you were talking about me just laying there, right? Like receptivity, being in reception is not passive, right? Receptivity is active. I have to engage in the connection in order to be in reception. And what I've learned over a lot of years and a lot of experiences and practices and really trying this with you is that I have to come to it and like be willing to be opened by the experience rather than bringing some ingredient that's going to like unlock the kingdom, right? I have to like be available for my body to be unlocked by what's happening in the experience with you,
right? Rather
than you bring some formula or I bring some certain outfit. Right now, if an outfit turns you on or you want to do tantric breathing practices together, great. We're not saying don't do any of that stuff. All we're saying, what the point that I want to make specifically right now is that for me as a woman, I have this idea that I have to like turn on first and then I can have intimacy with my partner. And what I've learned is that it's the reverse. It's I have intimacy, and that intimacy actually turns me on and ignites something in us that we then get to pour out into the rest of our lives, right?
Right. It's like it's to say it again in a different way, and also like from my perspective, it's often it's really, I have to be in a state of vulnerability and admit how much I actually want it, how much I actually like. And it's not just the like knocking off my load, right, and getting a nut out, but it's like
whoa.
Yeah, but it's more about, there's something more tender underneath. It's actually like what I really crave as a man is making love, like having the touch, having the time to be curled up with my partner, and like really actually like allowing that channel of like physical communication to open together, like being actually in our soft bodies together. And that's really something that it comes again back to, if we don't feel safe with each other, we won't do that. Like we will stay in our heads, we will stay in the business and the logistic talk.
Yeah.
But we won't actually like go in together and create this space together. And that is really, really important. And a lot of what's out there like is like 50 Shades of Grey, and like use all these techniques to like get each other off because it creates the illusion of intimacy, but ultimately like it becomes this performative dance. And as like Sasha just said, there's nothing wrong with any of these practices, but if we only have these practices, it's kind of like we only have tools, but we don't have the real thing underneath. And eventually we get full on it, we like overeat and on it, it becomes boring, it becomes meaningless.
And I think if we're relying on the performance, that builds resentment too.
Right.
Like if we're relying on some particular version of things to play out and then it doesn't, that's where a lot of partners, I think, close off their connection with each other and blame the other one. Well, I didn't get what I wanted because one or both of you was relying on performance rather than like really being embodied, really bringing presence, really bringing the truth, the vulnerability of each moment.
And there's like what Sasha said about like the, how did you say it? To get turned on, to have...
Well, I was trying to say it without the word sex.
Have sex, right, have sex in order to get turned on. Is basically what we mean by that is really to allow yourself to come into the bedroom the way you are. Like sometimes maybe like one of us is angry, or one of the problems that I know from a lot of the men that I work with is like they don't get hard, okay? So instead of, in order to avoid that fear, they take a little blue pill in order to get around that, right? And it's like that's another form of like I have to show up in this like peak state.
I have to perform.
I have to perform.
Belief that I have to perform or my partner will reject me, which is really a vulnerable feeling if that's happening for you, and you have a whole industry that's selling you the idea that they're going to fix that problem for you, and it doesn't actually fix the underlying
It doesn't fix the problem, and also we will never understand each other. We never show ourselves to the other person, and if we don't show each other, then what happens is I cannot understand you, you cannot understand me. And where we really start in our work is where's the bottom line, where's the common ground, and then from there you start to actually learn to understand each other and build a intimacy life with each other that's truly resonant to you and to your nervous system and to your bodies. So,
and from there you get to create anything you want.
Anything you want. Like you can go really far from that place.
Yeah.
Without all the crutches. Oh God. Right? And sex becomes easy, simple. Okay? Come as you are. So, yeah, if you are interested in knowing more, there's a 6-week workshop that's about to come up. It's on our website where you can sign up. It's entirely for free, okay?
This is the only time we're going to do this free workshop in 2024.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to learn more about us and our work. And if you've never done something like this with your partner, it's an amazing chance to do some couples work together where you don't have an obstacle of pain, because it's a free, we're gifting the workshop to all of you.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you there.
So important, this work. And if you feel insecure or shy or you don't know, you're also very welcome to just reach out. If you don't feel quite ready yet to like sign up for the free workshop, you're welcome to reach out to one of us, and we're very happy to connect with anybody about this topic because we feel very passionate about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so our website, you can sign up there. It's www.kerkmannhood.coaching, KERKMANNHOOD coaching.com.
And if you're on Instagram, there's a link in our bio.
Yeah.
And if you're on Facebook, we'll drop the link down below in the comments.
Correct. And if you are on YouTube, you will also find the link in the description of the video. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching and taking the time. I'm thanking you for taking the time for yourself, really, to learn some of this stuff, because it makes such a difference in our world if we have connected, loving couples. And yeah, we'll hopefully see you next Tuesday. If you like, you can also sign up for the newsletter on our website, so you'll always get an invite for these talks every Tuesday, 10 a.m. PST. Okay. Loads of love.